afternoon. Please take seat. I know it's hard following this session you've just attended before us, but please do take seat. It's hot, but we're going to discuss another hot topic, that is that of patriarchy. That is something that we are all concerned about. And with this title, it's almost provocative, you know, can the world pull out of patriarchy? So, well, I have with me Marlène Dolvec. Marlène Dolvec, you have several hats. You are General Director of SNCF Gar and Connect, but also member of the Board of Directors of the TSE school, business school, prestige, and also President of the Board of Directors of Radio France. So present in media, President of the Strategic Committee of Radio France. Thank you for being with us to talk about this, discuss this topic around patriarchy. And then Bernard Sananès, patriarchy. And Bernard Sananès will discuss a project which is not easy for men. We know you're the founder of ELAB. Well, let's move on. Patriarchy. When they suggested this, I thought, oh my God, you know, what's in it? You know, patriarchy. I mean, I looked at it in the dictionary to be sure that I was clear. It's a form of social organization in which men have power in political, economic, religious domains, where he is the dominant character. So the question we'll try to answer with you, because there will be a Q&A session. Can the world pull out of patriarchy? And of course, I will ask the question to a man first, to a woman, sorry. Thank you, Fanny. Thank you, Bernard. Good morning. Can we pull out of patriarchy in the world? So, well, I might have an optimistic view here in X, and I believe that to answer that question, I would like to be in a Republican consensus and to say the dynamics to coming out of patriarchy has been launched, and in this consensus I will approach it through three values: freedom, equality, liberty, equality, and brotherhood or fraternity. Well, anyway, pulling out of patriarchy, well, if there is more freedom, more liberty. Well, I was born in 1975. But in this women's emancipatory voting vote was 1945. The opening of a banking account without the authorization of the husband seems, 10 years before my birth, 1965, and 1975 is the right of abortion. But anyway, when I was born, there was already more freedom than was enjoyed by the pioneers before me. And then there were role models who expressed freedom. Well, the Queen of England is a woman who was exemplary, who was a role model. 7 decades of reign, of huge responsibility and power, and a turbulent family to deal with. You know, in role model there is Simone Weil, of course, Marie Curie, who also was criticized because of her private life. And of course, on a more contemporary note, now Christine Lagarde. So, liberty, I don't want to be naive, and our mother, when we talk about feminism, is Simone de Beauvoir, who told us, careful, any crisis, any war could drop to reduce women's freedom, and we have to pay attention. We have to be vigilant. And when we see what is happening in Afghanistan now with the Iranian women, so pulling out of patriarchy with more freedom, fair enough. But also, it's more equality. Equality means that everything is possible. We were saying earlier on, power to women or equality for men, but what equality is to say that women can do just about anything. Thanks to progress, they can drive trains, they can work in the post office, and they can fly planes, they can be researchers, academic, electrician. They can do whatever they want. So in this part of equality, what forced it were the laws. the law, and I want to talk about the laws. You know, well, the Koppe-Zimmermann law, 2011, amazing. The the Pénicaud index, which said they were equal salaries, and of course, and then 2021, the Rixin law. I mean, all those laws pushed for fostered equality. Well, of course, being president of a school, it's education, and once again, women are highly represented, strongly represented in high schools, in grandes écoles. Christine Lagarde gave the figures of women who succeed in their academic studies, and they actually do better than equality of education is true in France. There are a few bias, but true equality does not exist in Cambodia. When we see Tina Keffer, who create schools for little girls in Cambodia, clearly there is, well, equality is also equality without ignoring differences. I'm not saying that I'm Joan of Arc with my armor. Women have to be women, but journalists, clearly you consider that we don't deny difference. Every portrait of a woman, be it Marie-Lise Léon, who was appointed at CFDT, or myself, we talk about the earrings, the beautiful dress. Well, yeah, we talk about, but we do not deny difference. Liberty, equality, fraternity. Well, for women, it's sorority and exemplarity. I mean, that's for me most important. First, as a woman, this solidarity with women around me. As a general director of Garin Connection for my teams, equal salaries, more women in the executive committee. Women in technical jobs, they will take new positions. As Director General, it's true for my clients, 100% of the women who use transport said they'd been attacked. So thanks to Me Too, thanks to all those who pushed, who fought, for the freedom to speak, to say it. But clearly, we need to protect these women who are in transport, trained, protected, and find new orientations so that there would be more security for women in my world, which is that of transport. Then, as president in the mandate, my mandate, president of TSE, and women are not. We don't have enough women in economic research, only 25%. Yesterday, Emmanuel Oriol said that she would have a new woman who would be economy Nobel Prize winner. Well, she's not Esther Duflo, but maybe there should be one day, a feminine Nobel Prize winner at TSE. Well, in my mandate, I'll push for that. And of course, in Radio France, I want to work in these topics where there are true acceleration. So, by way of conclusion, for me, we can pull out of the patriarchy, but we should not work on the basis of disqualification. It's 50-50, men and women, cooperation, and it's not, we don't want to exclude men or no positive, Brunet Le Maire was probably right this morning, women will save the world. Well, in the meantime, we'd like to know with you, Bernard, how all those topics are understood in society. Well, you do surveys, the French, their feelings, so there is question of patriarchy, this equality of access, discrimination. Well, let me answer that. When Jean Harvey called me to do this, why me? Why me? You needed a target that could be booed at the first mistake. Rather a female, you take a naive who did not understand the seriousness of the topic. Well, Jean Harvey, we know, is very persuasive. Then I was happy to discuss with you. But, I'd like to show that a man, not deconstructed, can have an objective vision on this. With my hat, I thought maybe, a hat, a cap, is it, can we have an objective vision on this. When we look at figures, not just the surveys, but we went to eLab and we went to look at public statistics. The answer to the question, can we pull out of patriarchy? Well, we're not there yet, clearly. Why? What is there behind that word? We asked this question in an open question, you know, and the answers are not interesting, actually. First, they talk about the old days, you know, the old days. They talk about the old world. We talk about the world that has gone, the domination, authority, and of course of a family which is ruled by the father. This is the way people look at patriarchy. Then there are observations which are shared widely. When we ask people, do we live in a society dominated by men? The answer is almost, 3/4 of the people interviewed said yes. And there is no difference between men and women. And this observation applies mainly to the people we interview, in the political sphere first, and in the world of labor or business. Now, when we look at all the statistics, well, today, in an objective way, to be a woman in our society is to be facing problems, fears, or anxiety on a daily basis. So more than one French person out of 2 say it's difficult to be a woman. Only one French person out of 5 consider it's difficult to be a man, well, which is reassuring in a way. 9 women out of, well, you mentioned it, Marlene, but 8 women out of 10 have a feeling that they've already experienced a sexist situation, especially when it comes to security. 9 women out of 10 said that they've adopted, the dodging attitude. You know, there are we know there are, and there are about 200 women who said that they were attacked, you know, they were attacked, they had violence from their husband or from their partner. So one woman out of 10 is scared when she goes home. This notion of security is strong in public space. We can see it, and we need to add the notion of the consentment, which is a major question when it comes to the problem we want to deal with. One figure, more than 4 women out of 10 said they have experienced a situation of non-consent, you know. Now, so this being said, you did mention it, but what are the solutions? What improvements can we still provide? Because as you were saying, there is emancipation, but not necessarily equality, or there are domains where equality is more difficult. So maybe just in the world of business, what could we do? I'm turning to you, Marlene Solveig. What could we do? In the world of business, in companies, well, of course, there are several topics. It depends on the types of companies. In some businesses, we realize that accessibility of women, is this a bias because women don't want to go, or it is because the jobs, in fact, when they are done by women are well done? So clearly, we need to push women to go to technical jobs. So this is a topic for the French Railways, because we got 25% women only, because the jobs are technical. So we have to encourage, and it's time, you know, it's from the schools where we know we have to show that all those jobs are possible for women. So clearly, first there are the topics of jobs. Then the will of a boss, a manager, who in his company will say, will start the dynamics. Say, in my company, I will make strong choices, and especially when you come to management jobs, because this is where the impact is strong. And it infuses in the company. I will make the choice to have a, balanced COMEX. I will choose a woman for equivalent values. But in the group where I am, it is the influence of the manager who carries that. Then it's women among themselves. Women to women, we need the true sorority role models. Women have to be caring among them, between themselves, you know. You can be role model or mentor. You can work on issues of trust, non-guilt vis-à-vis children, family life. Yes, it is possible your children won't be unhappy. An aspect of legitimacy. legitimacy is a real issue. When I was proposed this job of a manager of stations, you know, when it happened, for about 2 hours, I wrote everything why I was not legitimate. It's only the 2 hours later afterwards. So women, you know, we need role models, other women who helps them, and we push them to say, look, yes, you can do it. She did it, you can do it too. And I do believe in this as well, in businesses. Bernard, what solutions? Well, the opinion about progress, you know, about the improvement. Well, it is very contrasted. It is declared mainly by women, you know. We're talking about two topics, you know. The first, access to responsibilities, you mentioned it, but as well as, first of all, on the on salaries. We see salaries, even though there have been improvement, even though there have been improvement with equivalent jobs, the issue of working hours is still discriminating in terms of incomes for women. So what can we do? Well, of course, the company is understood as an accelerator for not all of them, but the company has the power to demultiply solutions. There are many solutions which are advanced in the groups, in modest companies, but I do observe, and as an observer of the public discussion, often such progresses are put forward rather by women. Men have problems, you know, leaders have problems getting these topics in communication for businesses, for example. We allow managers carry this topic, and men don't do that. So it's the same thing in public debate. I don't know what Fanny will think about that. But I think we question the political leaders, the women, but we don't ask the men political leaders for what they propose, as if it was a discussion reserved to women. The issue of company, of public debate, and of school, but of course, and I think it will concern all men present here, there is the issue of men, you know, of the commitment of men. You know, this was carried by women. Women have moved things, you know, strongly, but, you know, of course, it is clear that men, you know, have a role to play, and they should not consider it as a second topic. It will not take place without you, gentlemen. Time goes on, flies, so let's go, don't be shy. We'll give you a microphone. Introduce yourself. Ask your question. I'm a teacher in economic and social science. Yesterday, the session, where are the women, who closed the first day, ended with a reflection from Mrs. Lagarde, who mentioned equality, you know, in salaries. Everybody would win. It would be in the economic, social, cultural aspect. Well, it's true. It is true that there's been a reform, major reform recently, and some proposed for the pension, you know, salary equality, which could result, we could close the deficit, you know, and a white man refused alone, because you talk about domination, remove this position, and it is a shame. So I come to the values, because you talk about the values of the patriarchy on domination. Well, we should go for peaceful, you know. I heard the praise of combat by Hugo Philippe. Question. Now, if there was a change in justice, we would have the change and the justice and peace. Well, that's not the question. So let's move on to another question, please. Capucine, I'm a feminist militant. We could have mentioned the word feminism, because it's thanks to feminism that we're here today. I have just one question for this gentleman. When you introduced yourself, you said that you considered yourself not as a deconstructed man, and it's still a rude word, this word, notion of deconstruction, whereas it is central, because a patriarchy is a construction. If you want to deconstruct things, it implies that. My question, Why not use this word, and why do you think that men have a problem to deconstruct themselves? Do they want it? You noted that it was a little joke because you seem to have a lot of humor. Well, I don't like this word, this term. I consider that it is a bit of a caricature and something a bit systemic, but I told you that I'm convinced that men should convey it. It's a semantic issue, and semantic issue has been close, marked by, branded as excessive. But I didn't have time. But I'm amazed by what is going on the blogs. Blogs are several militant blogs, activist blogs. You probably know better than me. I think it's interesting what's done about the words. Battle of the words. Well, there is blog none. I forgot the name, but which makes sure that in the media we don't talk about the women raped, but men rapists. So those are battles, with the minister who had some problems right now, but who said a fight with hashtag don't let anything go, Marlène Schiappa. Well, so this is an interesting approach to fight on all fronts rather than deconstruction, but it's a personal vision. Another point. Olivier, I'm a businessman. I work with the COMEX of large groups, and my experience of the rise of women in organization is a fact, because for the last 25 years I've seen a lot of women getting access to responsibility jobs in COMEX more and more, with fairness, men, women. And Europe today, we got European leaders, females, in the media. Radio France, you're in Radio France, Madame. France Inter, Radio France, France Television, France Info. So what's your question? Now, it's concerning the culture. Where do you see there is a inequality? You talk about technicity, industry, maybe. Is there certain domains where indeed there are less women? I'm saying it again, often these are technical jobs or jobs where women decide not to go. We got figures which said that this year in some engineer schools there are less women who run for the competition, because in their studies in the lycée, in high school, they didn't select math or so sometimes it could be topics of a trust of women in some businesses. Well, it can be scientific business, research in economy, but doctors are women, a lot of women. So it's good news, because caring doctors, will be good. But in technical jobs, which are jobs on site, when we renovated, we built the train station, we got people from the building industry, and it's very difficult to go and move women who are electricians, who work at night, to work which are difficult. So we have to show that it's possible, and possibly also we should to organize ourselves, to organize the lives of women. We had problem of cloak rooms. That was a little topic for us, but to have lock rooms which are pleasant for women and very differentiated from those of men. Well, sometimes it's a little additional point in the education of children. How do you do with night shifts? So all these issues have to be discussed, so that these jobs, women would want to go to these jobs. The topic, of course, is complex, and I only give you a couple of points which are my views. One last question, 2 minutes left. Will be the last question, madam. Hello. Liberty, equality, fraternity, and modesty. Let's be small and let's be. It's not a question. So let's be tall. So what do you get from modesty, humility? Madam, I think there is a topic in our discussion which is, should we be pleased, satisfied with the progress made, or should we be worried about everything that remains to be done? You know, if we're in humility, we could say it would be a mistake to say that nothing happened. I think objectively, you know, that's not reality, especially when it comes to inequality of salaries. But on the contrary, there are entire fields which remain to be plowed and open and covered and open and whatever. So we'll continue the discussion.